Hello, this is Troy with the Noble Grafted In Middle Position, teaching on the church from Ephesians chapter 2, verse 11. Therefore, remember that at one time you Gentiles in the flesh, and remember that is referring to the same you that we've already talked about in verse 13. In him you Gentiles also, when you heard, keen on the pronouns. Therefore, remember that at one time you Gentiles in the flesh, called the uncircumcision by what is called the circumcision, which is made in the flesh by hands. Remember, you Gentiles, remember that you Gentiles, were at one time separated from Christ, alienated from the commonwealth of Israel. And remember, Darby's dispensationalism has divided Israel from the uncircumcision. So Darby's dispensationalism continues to keep these two separated, which is the opposite of the gospel that Paul brought to the Gentiles. Just saying. Remember that you were at that time separated from Christ, alienated from the commonwealth of Israel, which you are no longer alienated from, and strangers to the covenants of promise. So, look at this word from, and look at this word to. This actually connects the thought. So if you're alienated from the commonwealth of Israel, then you're going to be strangers to the covenants, plural, of promise. Now, our covenant theologians that are Jew-hating Germans brought to us front and center in the West are called covenant theologians. Covenant theologians. Paul's talking about covenants. Now, you should ask your most favorite covenant theologian, which covenants do they go to? If they're telling the truth, they're going to say a covenant of works, grace, and redemption. A covenant of grace, a covenant of works, a covenant of redemption. Okay? The covenant of works is going to be tied to Adam, not Moses, and then there's a covenant of redemption and grace that aren't in the Bible. But that's their three covenants, and none of them have anything to do with Israel other than replacing Israel. So they have invented three new covenants to keep us, and we're still, because of this, strangers where we're not supposed to be strangers. We're no longer strangers to these covenants, but actually we still are.